Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. This is another Twitch recap from last Wednesday, where we were starting to develop a low Earth orbit station to replace Tremonia station that has now been shifted out to the moon. This station will serve a primary purpose in that we are trying to greatly reduce launch costs of ferrying crews out to the moon. Now that the mission scope out there has been extended almost indefinitely, or really until we can farm as many biomes as our little science hopper that needs a good name. Haven't checked the comments yet. Will allow. It looks like we're going to have crews out there for a good long while. So we would like a low Earth orbit station. We will launch crews probably on a reusable vehicle, a Shuriken or an SKS shuttle, bring them and equipment to said station where they will meet with a Earth-Moon ferry that will transport crew and said equipment out to the moon, dock with Tremonia station, where the ferry can refuel. The crew can take our reusable lunar lander down to the surface. Crew changeouts can happen that way, and then put the process in reverse to bring them home. And considering we get paid a lot for doing those shuttle missions, a 3 Kerbal to low Earth orbit contract pays out roughly 600 grand. Depending on the vehicle we use, we either profit 500 grand or about 350, 400 grand, depending on what equipment goes up with said shuttle. We may look into even cheaper disposable alternatives for ferrying the crew around. But the very first step in that is to have some place for the crew to go, and then we can start building out the rest of the infrastructure for our Earth-Moon taxi transit system. So basically we need a habitat, figuring that we're working with crew change levels of about 6 crew per. We figured we needed to be able to house at least 6 crew on orbit. A 30-day stay up there would probably not be unheard of, all things considered. That's about the turnaround time of a Shuriken shuttle. It's about 45 days turnaround time for an SKS shuttle. So that's kind of our bare minimum that we're looking at. I think we actually ended up with enough life support stock on hand to keep a crew happy there for about a year, which is good because even though one crew might sit there for a month, the next crew might only sit there for a week, and it reduces time that we have to actually keep resupplying this vessel. But of course, all of that could be done very easily by whatever shuttle transports the crew up there. Bring a little life support tank, replenish some supplies, and then keep the whole system moving. I guess the biggest hitch is how we're going to assemble this. I really wanted to do it with flights of the SKS shuttle. Its primary purpose has always been orbital construction, so it's nice to actually have a means to put it to good use. While in orbit, though, we will need a method to dock things together, so we're kind of adopting this core and making it into a small orbital tug. It will probably go up with the first launch, stay on station, and then be responsible for autonomously assembling the station entirely. So the way we have this assembled right now is probably not the way that it's going to end up looking once we have the whole thing together and complete. But that remains yet to be seen, and also on how well I can actually kind of dock things together. We'll just change the paint out on the tug real quick. It's super basic, doesn't have to do a whole lot, just hauls things around and puts them together, hopefully in a rather speedy little bit of time, because it has no solar panels and no RTGs. It will basically siphon electric charge off of whatever it is docked to keep itself running. Really, once we have the power coupler attached, that shouldn't be much of an issue because we'll leave it docked to the station when we park. And then up top here is going to be a docking adapter, because at any given point we're going to have a shuttle, a moon ferry, and this tug attached to the station. There could be a point in the program when we have not only a tug, but maybe a Perseus or an Artemis on its way out to something else, and the tug, and a shuttle all dock to it at the same time, which just imagine that that tug is not actually there, that the docking hub attaches directly to the habitat. The habitat is flipped upside down the other way. Yeah, anyway, so we're going to need a very large fuel tank attached to the station to refuel the Earth-Moon taxi, as it's going to be a reusable craft and stay up there for a very long time. It'd be very nice to be able to refuel it many, many times. So we will probably launch that on a heavier vehicle, but I do want to test some of these systems, so I'm going to turn you over to Old Me. I'll tell you from experience. Oh, come on. No, there we go. It's like, don't start me on the launch pad. I just paid you $60,000 to not start on the launch pad. For Christ's sake. Well, it's in testing. It's a potato type. Alright, so our main core should be here, and we can just go ahead and hit, well, let's turn RCS on. Why won't you turn RCS? Oh, because you're out of your tonnage limit. Duh. Decouple node. Unlocking controls. Excellent. Control from here. Set as target. Alright, you know what? While we're here, let's just do this instead. Dublin Station. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of this off-axis wonky docking with a tug designed like this. It is inevitable. This is why we test stuff. That wasn't all that bad, was it? Avionics locked. Thruster's still going crazy. Decouple node. That's good that we can decouple without having to have avionics control. That makes life a lot easier, actually. As target. Control from here. Nimble little bugger. Alright, come on. Yep, I was watching the nav ball and not the So now we do have a spinny boy. There we go. No more spinning. Mukbang station. I know, I'm such a cheater for not using persistent rotation. Make sure it has an anime weeb name. If only there was some such mod to give you that information. while docking. If only, if only. Or I could just tap all the keys super incessantly as to drive everyone absolutely crazy. Because that's what I'm best at. Alright, gently now. Give me some love, sugar. Come on. Or do that instead. No singing. Alright, well, it generally works. The tug will generally work. It'll be a little awkward. We could always bring two and dock one on each side. No, because then how are we going to dock it to the station itself? German Kerman's probably sleeping. It's very nighttime in Germany. Alright, revert, VAB, and with enough proof there that the system is probably going to work, I think I can wrestle it into submission and get some of these things figured out. We'll give it a little bit of a paint job. It's gonna be pretty basic. It's basically the Chaka black and the Chaka white textures, so they look space station-y and well insulated. They kind of blend pretty well together. We'll do Chaka black because that's been the texture of choice that I have been using for fuel tanks, and white is the texture of choice I have been using for life support tanks. So there it is, real basic, not a whole lot of frills. Space station. We'll start breaking it down and getting it loaded onto SKS shuttles that will get put into our build queue. I am going to add one more little tank up here just to kind of clean up the look a little bit. It's weird looking, and that does give us a little bit more life support. But the fuel tank is not quite as big as I want. It is immensely heavy. However, it does cut into our tonnage limit. I figured SKS is good for about 55 tons to orbit of cargo. That one tank alone was pushing like 180 or 175 tons. So it's a little beyond what we can bring up on an SKS flight. It doesn't mean we can't just load it onto something simple like a DN1. As long as we can get very close to the station, we can deploy the tug to go remove it from the A upper stage with the 5 RL10s and bring it in for a solid docking, hopefully. So we've sub-assembled all of our core parts, basically, and we'll start loading them into SKS shuttles. I think all of them, really, we're going to try to put at least 2 modules per shuttle flight. We should be way under our tonnage limit. And here is the mighty SKS. We'll just open this cargo bay. This one is empty. I did make changes after our last SKS flight to the docking hub closest to the crew cabin. It's no longer made of airlocks, and it no longer clips into the cockpit. So hopefully we can entirely avoid all of the problems we had on our last flight, which would be fantastic, I hope. So there's the crew cabin, life support, and the tug. This mission will go up first, almost certainly. We just need to strut the cargo into the bay, make sure it's good and secure and not flopping out of the cargo bay during our ascent. That's always awkward. Close up the cargo bay, make sure we give it a new name and add it to our build list. And then it's time to load in our secondary batch of cargo. So we'll just open up the cargo bay, double check everything here. Now, of course, that I've already added it to the build list. we'll have to remove it. But basically, these life support cabins can hold fuel, Aerozine 50 and nitrogen tetroxide. Might as well make every little bit count because we're still way under our tonnage. Best I can figure. I never actually bothered to measure any of it. I thought that the sub-assemblies menu would give you a tonnage listing. It does not. It turns out our docking hub is just a little too broad, so we're just going to narrow in those pieces a little bit. We'll grab our power coupler adapter, and this is probably the lightest SKS flight ever attempted. I think we will probably build or bring up something additional with this, be it life support supplies or maybe a smaller fuel tank for Aerozine, just to make sure. We'll save that and add it to the build list also. And at this point, we had a choice to make if we wanted to do a flight proof of the SKS, as I have not verified that our new system up at, well, behind the crew cabin, what broke last flight, will survive this flight. I'm very confident it will, seeing as how it was kind of a weird problem to begin with. But instead of flight proofing it, we decided to go ahead and do a drop test with our Mars base. Just because that was the other thing that we have been working on until really the last 2 weeks or so. This is a much older version of said Mars base. I think this was from the rover integration episode. I'm actually about 2 versions past this, but it took me way too long to realize that I was working with the wrongiest base setup ever. I think it was right about this point I realized, oh, the rover loaders are all wrong. Nope, didn't. I decided to retract the wheels and then tried to figure out why there was no rocket underneath it, like there should have been. For those of you who watched the last recap featuring this base, we did a small drop test. We built a very basic rocket underneath it. Threw it up into the air and tried to see how well it would survive a rather rough landing, and what parts would break, and how much they would break if we would destroy rover wheels or smash hinges, blow off engine bells, that kind of thing, because I imagine we'll be coming in a little fast, perhaps. And also during that last test, I did not include a drill for our engineers to properly unhook the rovers from their moorings. So that we could do a test of the resupply method that we have kind of figured out, and we'll add a whole lot of engines. These are all Asterisk 2 engines, which is kind of my go-to engine for landing on things. Infinite ignitions, infinite runtime, bulletproof reliability at this point. They work out pretty well. We are going to add a few more parachutes to try to mitigate a little bit of the overly rough landing that we had last time, and then of course the ever interesting trying to attach things. Anyway, channel news and drop test coming up in just a second. I'm going to turn you over to old me. No rush, man. I got some time, which leads me to this next little bit that I was kind of waiting for an in-game screen just so I don't forget to edit it out in post. Bearings, SEP, clamps. Come on, Clint. Where? Oh, come on. Really? That's what we went to do? That's what we were doing? Okay. Engines, chutes, separator, top engines. That decouple, rover decouple, rover decouple. Space bus. Eric Witt, thank you for the follow, man. That's awesome. Greatly appreciate that. Alright, so, small little bit of channel news before we hit go. As some of you may know, Lady Crash is currently preggo. Preggo as hell, actually. Super pregnant. And, well, little one is showing up. Joe. Yes. It does look like an oversized little Joe. Alright. Little one is going to be here Tuesday. Hooray! Basically what this means is next week, 4th of July, there will probably not be a live stream. I will probably be a little lax on the episodes for YouTube. I hope you guys will forgive me. Tuesday, like a week from yesterday. Yes. So I might get a little light on the content, call it Boris. I can't, it's a girl. She would hate me forever if we named her Boris. Yeah, I know, right? Holy moly. The good news is I'm taking a couple of weeks off work because of said little one. And so hopefully I will need the vids. Hopefully I will be around a bit and can actually make some content when the micro crash is sleeping. But Alice. But I will be sure to keep you all updated as far as any of that stuff is going, probably through Discord, because that's where I hang out the most now. But oh, I'm going to make Lady Crash read all of these name suggestions. They are awesome. Well, let's get this drop test underway. Ignition. Need a proper vote on the name. Baby McBabyface. Theos, how's it going? Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming out. Stop the test. Stop the test. So when Baby takes her maiden flight, we'll vote on a name. How does that sound? Don't fuck this up, Theos. This is our only shot today. Whoa, that was not the roll key command I meant it to be. It does not want to roll. Do we not have... Oh boy. Alright, we just want to make sure we're over dirt when we come down. That's the only thing in before kaboom. Over dirt. That is our only requirement for this test, is over dirt. Come on. Going retro. We can only test half the things in the water, Veos. Why do you do this to me? Where is not water? Okay. Maybe? Maybe we need to be back a little more towards the 270. You know, we're only Mach 1. There's only 4 Kerbals on board. No big deal. Alright, that should be good. We can just roll with this. Only 11 seconds left on these engines. I wonder, we're gonna get up to 20 kilometers. That's a pretty good drop. Won't nearly simulate our speed, but maybe it'll give us enough time to run the engines. To bleed off enough speed to touch down without... I meant to redo the lab attachment. You didn't remind me. Why didn't you remind me? Oh, did we have a failure? Huh. Alright then. Yep. RCS to arm. Not gonna do us a whole lot of good here, but... Whoa. Oh god, Veos, what have you done? Well, that was interesting. Okay. Whatever works. Force is strong with this one. I should have probably placed RCS ports down here on this thing. Give us a little more authority. Alright, we're just gonna tempt fate with a physics warp until we start to fall. Arm parachutes. Veos equals airbender confirmed. We're sub 30 kilometers, so all these chutes will deploy right away if we trigger them, so let's set throttle to 0, stage in our multi-million Astros 2s, and fire the chutes. I'm sure they will do their job eventually in keeping us upright. That would be great. Any minute, y'all. Oh, we should have set the deployment altitude a little higher, because they go at like 700 meters. This is going to be interesting. Let's turn the brakes on so that our rover wheels don't go crazy. Really uncomfortable. I imagine they're going to get really motion sick. Like, there's no universe in which this doesn't make you nauseous as hell. There just isn't one. They ate a light breakfast. Fluids only at this point. Well, this is the first time I've had a single entity part count be bad enough to get the frame rate this low. Time to readdress this overclock thing. Alright, let's see if any of them can bother to hold a retrograde vector. I really wonder how much fuel this is going to burn off from our ascent stage. Well, they're not doing too bad. And we are slowing down, that's a good sign. Why so many? So many engines? The air at Mars isn't going to do us a whole lot of good for aerobraking. So really, like, Mars landings are pretty much an engines only kind of landing. The parachutes are there to assist and really kind of help grab you so the engines don't have to work. Varric 3, you saw my SSTO video on Reddit and realized you followed? Hey, awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here, and somebody posted that video to Reddit. That's awesome. I did not know that. Well, thanks for coming by. You really need 28 parachutes and 49 engines, bruh? I absolutely do, Unity, and what I do with Mars is none of your business. Yeah, Mars is hard. Mars kind of sucks to land on, to be real honest. I don't think I've ever been able to get anything down that wasn't pretty much an engines-only descent with just mild parachute assist. What happens on Mars stays on Mars. Well, so really, if I can get an engine set up that touches this thing down soft enough here on Earth, then I'm pretty sure it'll work on Mars. Out of the box, it comes to like 2,800 meters per second at delta V. Orbital speed is about 3,300. Oh yes, please come join the Discord. I think Cosmo would like the cartoon Deep Space 69. What kind of cartoon is this, Veos? Sounds like it might have mild adult themes. Am I gonna put a space base on Europa or Titan? Oh man. Not for a while now. I'm still, we have a glider that we're going to launch to Titan and see how well it does, and that'll tell me a whole lot about what it's going to take to land something heavy there. But putting crew into the outer solar system is a huge job. It's going to require many millions of tons of life support. But really, crewed missions to both those places, I'd say, would be long-term goals. I did tend to like Rick and Morty back in the day. Where can I watch Deep Space 69? Okay, we are 3 kilometers up, still moving 141 meters per second. Let's see if parachutes do any magic tricks at about 700 meters. Are all those engines firing? Yeah, I guess they are. Thrust to weight ratio is parsley .4. It'll be a lot better on Mars. Titan is easy. 5 meters per second. Low gravity, high atmo pressure. Okay, come on, parachutes. Anytime now. Anytime now. G-forces increasing. Oh, look at that. Holy crap. It's working. Engines off. Yes! Oh, that's awesome! I cannot believe that worked. Holy crap, it worked! Titan isn't so bad as long as the crew are okay with a one-way trip. I don't imagine they would be. Alright, let's get the resupply lander unhooked. Crew hatch, Bill, EVA. And just verify that all this can work. Inventory, equip. Thank you, sir. Alright, where are any of these things hooked to? So this is a drop base intended for Mars, Varric. Okay, are you gonna... What are... Okay. Just fall. Thank you. And, yeah, smack your head into the lab a few times. No big deal. Not like it has to be pressurized or anything. Probably shouldn't whack your head into things. Destrut 1. Destrut 2. Perfect. Switch. Robotics. Do I want to even bother with the, Yep. That's the wrong one. Okay. Is the base rotating? Are we rotating? Crash to micro crash. You probably shouldn't bang your head into things. No, I've not changed the gravity. No, this is not a Mars simulation. This is just testing hardware to see if it's going to work. Dock arm wheel hinge. Is that... Yes. I don't have HyperEdit installed on this because I didn't want people on you. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Well, there's something I'm glad we know now before we actually get to Mars. Decouple. That would be severely problematic. And why is it... I mean, it's like the Space Needle, I guess. Boris, we need your expertise, sir. Now kill SAS, maybe? RCS? That did it. Maybe? Nope. Now we've got the donk-a-donk. Alright, come on. I need my experienced engineer. Nope, still... There you go. Twitching gimbals, yeah. His expertise, you want to blow the station up already? He's the only level 3 engineer we have. He's the only one who can fix wheels. Varric, I agree entirely with the premise there that running simulations like that would be not cheating. Repair? Boom. I just think it's more fun to do it this way. And really with Mars, like, other than being parachute only, if you can engines only something on Earth, you can engine only something on Mars. You just need to know how much delta V you need. Repair? No. No. Maybe? Let's overloader wheel hinge. Just up you go. Brakes off. Brakes off. Please don't kill Boris. The Astris 2 engines can be ignited unlimited times. In order for anybody to fit... Oh, that's way too fast. Okay. I need to find a way to reduce the torque on these wheels by like a lot. Alright, control from here. Of course, you would be offset by 45 degrees. That's perfectly reasonable. 3 meters per second. Okay, wow. You're exactly 2 key taps from being 3 meters per second to 2 meters per second. Wow, okay. And steering, not so much of a thing here. Let's try control from here. Nope, steering still extra wonky. Entry rail. Oh yeah, no, we're way off. Sorry. Bonk. Alright. That is a much better alignment. Lower it into a docking-esque position. Oh, no. Dang it. Boom! Oh, don't you... Eh, wheels broke. Where are you going? Gantry rail, what are you... Okay, one other thing I wanted to check for. Bye-bye wheels. Yeah, that has been the general problem with this system, is that you run the risk of smashing wheels. But we can, however, lift the rover into a serviceable position just by virtue of that. And I guess we have a lot to gain by sending a level 3 engineer, or at least maybe tucking some replaceable wheels here into these things and seeing if it doesn't want to live on this planet anymore. Yeah, it might be cracking bait, but it might also be fairly long term. I don't know. Kill some motors. Yeah, I could just make this thing 2-wheel drive. That's why we need a live base landing, is to watch me smash wheels. Fair enough. Alright everybody, I am unfortunately out of time for this evening. Gotta go make dinner and rub my wife's feet. Something tells me to send the first one unkerbled. Maybe, but man, if I could land 2 things close together on Mars, I wouldn't need to make this ridiculous base. I could send it down part by part and then assemble it on the surface. But man, landing stuff close together on Mars is wicked hard, yo. Alright. I have to call it a night, and yeah, like I said, go rub Lady Crash's feet. Make sure she's taking it easy, because she absolutely refuses to sit still. We're kind of alike in that way. Thank you, Uber Challenge Mode. Land something on the top docking port of the base from orbit. No, you are fired, Wookie. Alright. Everybody have a very good evening. I will try to get some stuff up to YouTube before the weekend, when I will go MIA for at least a couple of days. But I will be sure to keep you all updated via Discord on how Micro Crash is coming along, and then get her to play KSP to sit still. I tried that once. It almost worked. I will be sure to keep you all updated as things are going and stuff like that, and hopefully we'll get back to a regular schedule soon to soon-ish. But I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, Vela for a name. That's a nice one. Okay, I gotta go. I'm sorry, everybody. Have a good one. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. You guys are awesome. So until then, see you later.